Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we're finally going to be talking about the big show that everyone's talking about. I've seen it everywhere. I've heard everyone talk about it. My mom watched it, my brother watched it, my sister watched it. Everyone's watching it, so I was like, okay fine, I'll hop on the bandwagon this time and I'll check it out. Because normally I trust Netflix shows. I do think that most Netflix shows are good, and after watching this, I am going to go back and watch some of the ones I haven't seen yet. So I'm going to watch You, I'm going to check out Stranger Things. I've only seen the first season of that. I'm going to do a bunch of them. I'm going to watch American Horror Story, which I know isn't Netflix, but I'm going to watch it anyway. Breaking Bad, I'm going to rewatch for like the 13th time, but I haven't reviewed it for the channel yet, so I'm going to watch that again. So expect all of that within the coming year or so. Starting with You, I'm going to be doing You next, the movie You. The show You, I'm doing that first. So I'll be doing that after I'm done with reviewing this. I'm going to start the first episode. But today, we're going to be talking about Squid Game, Season 1. Squid Game Season 1 was released in 2021. Big spoiler warning, okay? I'm going to be talking about spoilers this entire video because I think that talking about shows without spoiling it is incredibly difficult and also pointless. Because why would I tell you about a show without being able to spoil anything? I'd literally just be able to tell you it's good or it's bad without spoiling anything. So spoiler warning for Squid Game. If you haven't seen it, drop a like, and definitely come back later. Add it to a playlist. I like doing that to YouTube videos. Definitely consider doing that because it's a huge, huge help. So Squid Game, what is it? Essentially, it is this Korean show about these, it's kind of, you know, in the future, and this weird people are like, here, if you participate in these childish games, we'll give you tons and tons of money, approximately 38 million US dollars. So I think, you know, essentially it's like, you know, you can live forever off of this money if you just come play games with us. So a bunch of characters, a variety of them, were like, okay, fine. So they all come together, and there is one main character. I can't pronounce any of these people's names. I don't have the actors written down because I cannot pronounce them. I'm not going to try. All of the actors are pretty solid. This guy in particular, you know who I'm talking about, who has a mother who has a failing business, and he owes debts to a lot of people. He's cool. I like him as an actor. I think he progresses a lot. I think he gets better as we go. At first, it kind of seems like a comedy for him, and then it goes into this awesome dramatic turn. But I think, so that he's the main character. I would consider him the main character. I think many people will consider different things the main characters. I think he's my main character. I think he's definitely like the soul kind of the show here. And he essentially teams up with a bunch of people. There's a doctor. Well, no, he doesn't team with the doctor. There's an old man. There's his friend who is like this super smart grad student. There's this young woman who is just trying to get home to her family. All these people. Oh, and a loyal friend he meets from Pakistan. Love that guy. They all decide they're going to kind of participate as a team, which never works out, especially in this show. I mean, as soon as they're like, we're going to be a team, they no longer become a team because, you know, I can spoil it because I already have spoiler warning. They have to split up into different teams. They have to do like 1-on-1, 1v1. It's pretty crazy. And really what the idea of the show is, it kind of mocks civilization in a variety of ways. It is a Korean show, so it's kind of hard to picture the reciprocations from that society, but for this society, for America, there's a lot, really, there is. I don't think it's as much as the show 3%, which is a Spanish show that definitely feels very American. But the way that they mock American society here is they actually have some Americans who are called the VIPs, and they come in and they laugh while everybody dies. So that's a big thing. But there's a lot of it. There's a lot of bad things going on, like, oh, hey, you know, you have to, you know, risk your entire life to get out of debt. It shows that, you know, no matter what you do, you can't escape your debt. It has to be paid one way or another, whether it be through death or through being able to actually pay it off. There's a lot. I'm not going to talk about all of it. There's a lot. I'll talk about the big things. First, I think the Marbles episode is the best episode in the entire show. It's one of my favorite episodes of TV of all time. I think it's called Gnobu. It's hard to pronounce, but it is the best episode. There's so much going on. There's happiness, there's sadness, there's love, there's death. It's incredible. I literally was like freaking out when I was watching this. I was watching this in the computer lab, this episode of my college, and this one girl comes in and she sat down behind me and was like, "Oh, you watching that episode? It's so good." And she watched with me for a little bit. It's pretty cool. It's fun. And it's a great episode. And it's about love and loss and getting to actually know the characters, because for a while you're like, okay, that's an old man, that's a Pakistani who is loyal for some reason, and that's really all you have. But that really gets the arcs to the top. That's the climax of most characters' arcs. Also the ending of some people's arcs. And then, of course, we figure out that one of the people is kind of bad. Then there's the glass one, which is really, really cool and really tense. Then, of course, the Squid Game at the end was super spectacular. I like the end of the arc for our main character. I like how he decided it was more important for him to go take down this awful, awful game, this inhumane game. It's more important for him to take it down than to go visit his daughter. So I think it's kind of cool how we got to see that. And I think it was really smart to go that way, because they could have done a different way. They could have gone, okay, it's behind him, he's going to go visit his daughter. No, he can't do that. So I thought that was really nice. I think it was appropriate for his character. Let's talk about the bad parts of this. And there are quite a few, unfortunately. So I talked to my brother about this for like half an hour earlier today. So I'm able to get all of my thoughts out now in a very good manner. So I'm excited to talk about this. I'm ready. First thing I didn't like episode 2 almost at all. And that is because it is dramatically different from the first episode. Right? First episode, we're getting to know our characters, we get a lot of fun, we get the weird slap game with the cards on the floor, and then we get our first actual game of, you don't cross the thing, we kill you, where you move, we kill you, which is a great realization for the audience. I like that a lot. Then the second episode, everyone's like, oh, no, let's go home, and then they do, and I was like, it was brave of them to do that, for one. I think it's brave to just kind of stop the show and start over, which is pretty much what they did. But then most people were like, oh, wow, we do need that money. And so they go back, to the show, which was nice to see, but also kind of silly. I don't know, that whole episode is very long for being an hour long. It just feels so long. There's so much time for a whole lot of nothing to happen. Honestly, they could have probably just dropped that episode entirely, and it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. It would have made a difference because, obviously, there are character developments there, particularly with our main character, where he realizes, oh my gosh, I have this daughter, I need to be able to provide for her, I need to do all this. I liked that, but it just felt too long. That should have been another half-an-hour episode, I think. That would have been much better. And another big disappointment is in episode 9, which is the final episode, where, first we learn in episode, I think it's 8, that the guy in the black mask is the brother of the cop who sneaks in, which I knew pretty much the entire time. I don't know why, I was just like, that's definitely gonna be his brother, and it was. So go me. But I don't know, it felt kind of easy to tell. It's not even necessarily the show's fault. I think it's just I knew. I don't know why. I was intuitively like, that's gonna be his brother. I just knew the whole time. So that wasn't a big surprise for me. Then they just kind of kill off the cop and that was it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of boring. Although the phone's still on him, so I'm wondering if it's possible in Season 2, if there is one, if they go track that, maybe they go find that. I'm not sure. I don't really care either. I'm being completely honest with you. I was just kind of like, okay, I guess that's done. The other big thing in the last episode is the old man is the guy running the show, which I didn't know that. I was not able to tell that from the beginning. I was like, I have no idea who's running it. I figured it'd be somebody that we've already seen. I did not expect it to be the old man. But it was the old man, and it turns out he just was like, I just want to play some games. I was like, it just kind of felt like a letdown, It's still not the worst thing that I've seen in terms of the end of a show, but it's like kind of like why did you have to do that? And then he dies. I'm like, okay, whatever. So of course, then our lead character's like, well, I guess we're done with the shows now because he's dead. Nope, they continue, and that's when our main character's like, I gotta go back and finish this. That's how the show ends. And honestly, I like the ending. I don't want a Season 2, if I'm being completely honest with you. I liked Season 1 a lot. I loved it. One of my favorite things I've seen this year. But I don't think it warrants a Season 2. Like, yeah, it would be cool to kind of see if there's anything that happens with the main character, going back and examining all this, but I don't really care. Like, I'm perfectly content with just that season and that being the end of it. Being like, okay, our character has gone from doing nothing with his life, having no control, to finally making a decision. He's like, all right, I'm making an active decision to go back and fight this. And that's okay with me to end it there. Because I know Season 2 is going to be messy if they make one. Because the themes are going to be all off. Because, first of all, The themes are kind of destroyed in Season 9 anyway, but they're not going to be rebuilt for Season 2. It's just not going to happen. And our main character is very different, which I actually kind of want to explore a little bit more of our main character in his new kind of in-control vibe. I like that. I just don't know if a Season 2 is warranted by this. And I honestly, if it comes out, I will watch it. I obviously will. I just don't particularly care. So I'm going to go ahead and give Squid Game Season 1 an A-. Have you seen Squid Game Season 1? Let me know in the comments below what you thought. I want to have an actual conversation about this in the comments below, so definitely let me know what you thought. I think it's really, really good. One of my favorite shows I've seen all time. Well, I guess not all time, but this year. It's just, there are definitely moments where it just kind of feels like a letdown. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. Definitely consider subscribing, because once I get to 200 subscribers, I'm going to be doing an 8-hour-long live stream. You don't want to miss that, so definitely consider subscribing, liking the video, share it with your friends, and as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.